What's up, everyone? Welcome to Mythic Conversations. Got a whole new set behind me today. It's a crossover type episode. Last week, I did a crossover episode with Steven for Legion's Cast. Today, I'm a crossover episode with Four Horsemen O'Clock, but it's only me on the couch. But thankfully, I have this pillow. So I kind of have Chris and George here with me. I do have a live studio audience. Woo! Very, very cool. So tonight, we're going to have a fun night. Let me kick over to the, let's see what's going on here. All right, cool. We're going to have a fun night tonight. We're going to talk a lot of news. I don't have, a presentation type thing tonight. Obviously, it's very different than a normal week where I've got my stuff behind me and I can do a demo or something. But I am in the studio, so I have some really cool stuff tonight to show. I've got some special little goodies here on the couch that I'm going to reveal tonight and give you some information. Turn on the lights. It's time to play the music. It's time to hit the lights. That does look better. There we go. Look at that. Super professional. All right, so let's see what's going on. Let's see what people are talking about here. Like I say every week, my name is Jeremy Gerard. I'm a Mythic Legions collector and customizer who also has the distinct privilege of being the director of sales and marketing for Four Horsemen Studios. That means all the content that you see at sourcehorseman.com is content that I help to bring you. I'm also here every single Wednesday night. Well, not here every Wednesday night, here on YouTube, doing Mythic Conversations, the weekly show where we cover all things Legions. And I call it Mythic Conversations because I want to hear from you. I want to do some back and forth. So throughout the night, tonight's going to be a very news-heavy night. I'm going to talk about a lot of the stuff going on in the world of Legion. So if you have questions, if you have comments, I can't answer all of your questions, but I'll answer what I can. Got my water. Very professional. Wow, $2 does get you a big jug of water. Awesome. So let's see what's going on here. A lot of people just saying hello. People talking about the interview last night. Yeah, if you didn't catch Legion's Lair last night, great interview with my friend Eric. Really, really interesting. They went really long. It was like a 3-hour episode. Super interesting, super fun. Every one of those episodes is a great time. Let's see what else is going on. Star saying, I need that Thygar pillow. The Thygar pillow is pretty awesome. When I first saw this on the video, I honestly expected that these horns, I thought they were like separate pieces. I really thought that these were going to be separate pieces that were like three-dimensional, almost like sewn in here. I was expecting Chris to hold it like from the horn because that shadow, it looks so good. It's a really, really cool piece. It had that three-dimensional type look. I mean, this is my favorite of the pillows. I think the gym pillow is the warmest, happiest one of the group. Okay. So what's going on with news? Let's talk about that. So, and someone's here saying, how many Cosmic Legions are going to be for sale on Saturday? That is a perfect example of a kind of question I'm not going to answer tonight. You want information on that? I'll give you some information, but I'm basically just going to regurgitate what you already know tonight. But I'm going to say it with a lot of enthusiasm to make you feel like it's important, because it is important. But I'm not going to give you additional information. You got to check in on Saturday for that. So If you caught Four Horsemen o'clock this afternoon, besides the silliness of Chris and I in costumes, or at least Chris in a costume and me in a hat, you got to hear a little bit about Toycon New Jersey. So that was this past weekend. Always a great time at Toycon New Jersey. George and I kind of showed some of the stuff that we got. It was fun to shop, but it was certainly more enjoyable for me to just hang out with everybody, to meet Legions fans. And we saw stuff similar to what we saw at ZoloCon earlier in the month, where we had a number of diehard fans that came out, that traveled. Awesome, everyone that I got to speak to in line before the show outside who were waiting in the cold. Loved getting to meet everyone. Everyone who was in the line who I didn't have a chance to go and talk to personally and meet, I apologize for having to get inside and work. But hopefully I got a chance to catch up with you later in the day when you were inside. So we saw, all of our fans come out, really support the line, support the company. And what has happened at these last few toy shows is really cool, where you get other toy fans that may not have ever heard of Mythic Legions, but they see this line of people. And as toy fans, we look at that and we're like, what the heck's going on here? I need some of this. Whatever they're getting, I clearly need some because something's hot. I don't want to miss out. So we had a number of people get in line and ask that question. What is this all about? What is this? And I love when I'm there at the table because other members will say, go talk to Jeremy. I love when they do that. They trust me to be kind of the ambassador for introducing the line to new fans. And we had a display of figures set up there, similar to ZoloCon. We had a number of factory paint samples or pre-production samples from the Alithia wave and also from the Deluxe Legion Builders wave. But we also had a number of production figures. We had a Malleus there, King Bromden. We had a big Force Troll. So those are the figures that I will pull out. And when someone says, either I've never heard of this line or, oh, I've heard of it, but I've never pulled the trigger and bought one, I love to take those figures and say, hey, you've never held one, go ahead and do so. Almost without fail, after they hold it and they play around with it, they buy one or they buy two. I think I mentioned before at ZoloCon, we had someone that came up and I talked to them for about 30 minutes, explained the line, answered their questions. They bought two figures and a wings pack, left the table, came back about an hour later, and I said, oh, you're back? And they said, yeah, I actually went in the car, opened these two figures and was playing with them, and I realized I needed more. So all of us who collect Legions, if you're on the show, you're clearly a fanatic like me. You know that drive. Once you get these in hand, you immediately want more. So we can relate to that. So we saw a lot of that this weekend. That was super cool to have everyone come out. It's going to be a little while before we have another show. I think the next show that we have on the event calendar, we're doing a show in Danbury, Connecticut called Shop the Curiosity. It's a new show. We're doing that. It's like a one-day show. That's, I believe, on June 11th. So we'll have a similar build out to what we had at ZoloCon and ZoloCon and Toycon with the table of stuff. We know a lot of people who are not local to the New Jersey area really want us to travel further away to Texas, to California, to Chicago. We'd love to go to places like that. Of course, we want to meet fans in those areas. Logistically, obviously, if we can't drive there reasonably, it gets really hard to bring the amount of product that we do bring. So we're talking about different ways that may be possible in the future. So stay tuned for that and see. But certainly, if you are thinking of coming to a Legion show, a Four Horsemen Studios appearance, I would be remiss not to make a plug for Legions Con at the end of the year. That is the first weekend in November 5th and 6th. If you've got to travel for one, if you got to come to New Jersey, that's the weekend you want to do it, because that is going to be the epicenter of all things Legions. So legionscon.com, you can get all that information. Let me see what people are asking here. Yeah, Curtis is asking about any Wolf King Customs or Legion Shop pieces that we might be planning to go with Cosmics. I mean, the first thing that we're definitely looking at is existing parts. There's a surprisingly large amount of existing parts that will go. I mean, from my perspective, you can put a critter head on a spaceman's body and have a space critter. And we all know that I've got plenty of critter heads. So we could do a space fox or a space badger or a space rabbit or a space turtle, a space spider. I could keep going on and on. But no, I mean, there's also I did a crayfish type look. I call it the crawdaddy head. I mean, it was meant to be like a lobstery looking type guy, but it looks super, super alien. A lot of the, almost mind flayer type heads, those look super alien as well. So there's a lot of stuff that I think, there's a mantis head that Wolf King has that'll work really well. So there's going to be a lot of heads that I think can be repurposed for Cosmic. And then there's going to be plenty of others. I've got some ideas. In true fashion, I don't want to be super typical. I'm looking at that first wave and I'm not only thinking, okay, how can I do a head for the Tusk Soldier? That's low hanging fruit. Anything's going to look cool on that. I'm looking at Slog and saying, like, what can I put on that body that's going to look totally cool? How do I transform that meatball? So I've got some ideas. We'll see. Okay, got back to a question I can't answer. So that means I know I've gone back far enough. So here's a perfect comment, an example of what I'm talking about. This comment, Elamatic Oneer, excuse me if I said that handle wrong, says, hey, we spoke last week in a Toycon. It's very nice to talk to you. I only heard of the Legions line and you took the time to show me why I should collect them. I bought 6 and I wish I bought more. Well, that is super cool to hear. I guarantee you, everybody, this is not a paid placement. I didn't pay this person to come on and say those very kind words. But thank you very much for coming out and supporting the line. I apologize for what we're going to do to your wallet, but you're welcome for what we're going to do to your toy collection. Let's see. Nate Strong says, FOMO Memel, which stands for fear of missing out on Mythic Legions. Yes, that is a very real thing. Tom Clayton says, I picked up a Garden Gnome head on Sunday. When will they be available on Legion Shop? Legion Shop actually turns 1 year old next month in April, which is super cool. It seems like just yesterday that I was doing this show and I was telling everybody, hey, we're opening Legion Shop. This is this new thing that Joe and I are doing. We're super excited about it. It's been an incredible year. I'm sure next month I'm going to do some programming around that 1 year anniversary. But I think what we're probably going to do is we're probably going to start the month with a little sale of some existing stuff, maybe do a little bit of discounts for people. And then we're going to end the month with a really big, drop of a lot of new products. So those gnome heads will probably be towards the end of the month with that new product. Let's see. Cosmic Legions being sold on Saturday is not part of Series 2, is it? Again, have to wait and see. So far, we've seen a bunch of those teaser posters. We'll look at those in a few minutes when we get to that. Yep. You buy one and you can't stop. You are absolutely correct. We need a Cosmic Legions lore episode. Interestingly, I spent about an hour today with Eric as he was brain dumping Cosmic Legions lore on me. Only a little bit of which we are ready to share, but it is absolutely super cool. We said right from the beginning with Cosmic Legions that the narrative and the way we roll it out is not only super important, but it's very deliberate and how we're going to reveal this information. And the wait is going to be worth it. As you get a little bit of a time, you're really going to see this universe start to take shape. Yeah, Jacob, the monkey head on a space dwarf body, that will be great. So Matt Rhodes is asking about how long will Intern for a Day be? Matt's actually going to be an intern this weekend. I'm getting warm. Let me take this off. It's all these lights. I'm used to all these lights here. So Intern for a Day is this coming weekend, which I'm super, super excited about. If you know anything about, my history with Four Horsemen Studios, I mean, a lot of my journey started with Intern for a Day. So I came back when they did the Advent of Decay Kickstarter. The reward that I selected was the Intern for a Day experience. Of course, I also got a whole bunch of figures, but that's where I started. And my first visit to Four Horsemen Studios in this building, but not this space. The studio at that point was in a different part of this large building. That was my first experience. And so much of what I am doing today is because of that experience. I wasn't even doing Instagram before that Intern for a Day. That was the point where I was posting some customs online, and someone said, "Hey, you should really use Instagram. It's a great platform for what you do." So that really started that platform for me, and it started, my friendship and my relationship with the members of Four Horsemen Studios. So to be back for Intern for a Day, I was, of course, here back in November when we did the last one as part of Mythic Weekend 2021. Now being back for this coming weekend, super, super cool. This is the first time that I'm doing so as a full-time member of the studio. So Matt, the day itself starts at 10 a.m. in the morning. It goes... You can get here a little early. We're going to have breakfast and stuff set up. So if you want to get here a little early and mingle, 10 o'clock is when we officially kick it off with the first presentation of the day, the first sessions of the day. It's going to run to about 4 or 5 o'clock. But what we have told all of the interns is, look, you got to get out of here around 5 o'clock. By 5 o'clock, you got to be out because we got to get ready. We had told the interns plan to be back around 7-ish, a little bit after 7, because we got a surprise for you. And at the time, we didn't tell the interns what the surprise was. Well, if you've got your ear to the ground, you totally know that what that surprise is the reveal special that we are doing for Cosmic Legions this coming Saturday. So we thought about the fact that the November interns, they came on that Thursday for Intern for a Day, and we already had G-Con planned for the Friday. And I remember everybody talking about it, and like Walter saying, Walter Hagen saying, "Hey, should we have everybody back the next day?" And that idea kind of started to circulate, and very quickly everyone said, "Yeah, we could totally do that." So we invited all the interns back on the Friday to be part of the G-Con experience. If you watched that broadcast, you remember that we had them, in a room here. Every time we would do a reveal, we would go to that room to get their live reactions. And it was so much fun that we said, we're doing this all the time. We absolutely, every G-Con, we're going to do this. Well, this isn't G-Con, but the fact that we had a new wave, we were ready to launch right around the time of Intern. We said, hey, this just works great. We want these interns to be able to have that experience as well. So Matt, to answer your question, the plan is that the official festivities will end around 5 o'clock, but we're inviting everyone back shortly after 7 to be here for the 8 o'clock broadcast for the new Cosmic Legions wave. If you're asking how long that broadcast is going to go, I would say about an hour. So I know you're driving a little ways. If you can't stick for that, that's totally your decision, but hopefully that gives you a framework of the time that we're going to be looking at. I had no legions, and after Jeremy's presentation, I have 200. Yay. I feel like that's a fake comment by someone in the audience over here. Curtis, is it true that Gorthok came out of nowhere and run the All-Stars 5 Battle Royal? That is fake news. That did not happen, Curtis. Nice try. 6 boxes. I've been to 3 shows and I've had the pleasure to speak with you each time. Pleasure was all mine, and got to purchase some of the custom parts. Got your signature on my figure. So thank you very much for coming out and for the support. Very cool. Cosmic Galore has me hyped. Curtis saying, have you made space in your collection for cosmics? What are you planning for displaying with them? I haven't yet. They're not here yet. That's a bridge I will cross when I have to. I hate to say that I'm going to probably have to sacrifice the Marvel Legends, but that is a fairly large display that I'm not currently adding to. And as a toy collector, you probably know that once you complete a line and you're not adding to it, some of the allure does go away. So I feel like I'm going to sacrifice, or at the very least significantly pare down, my Marvel Legends collection specifically to display the Cosmic Legions. But again, I've got a little bit of time between now and then, so we will see. Goodness, a lot of comments tonight. Thank you for all the engagement here. Austin, you are very, very welcome. Cool. So what else is going on? So that was ToyCon this weekend. Again, super, super blast. If you're interested in other events that we are going to be at, right on our website, there's a section that says updates. That little drop-down menu has an events button. You can click there. There are a few more appearances that we're looking to add this year, and certainly we'll be at more places next year as well. Again, Legions Con, that's the one you really want to come to. What else going on? All Stars 5. So All Stars 5, that vote ended today. Super fun process. To recap that a little bit, we started, weeks ago. It was the beginning of the month, right? Actually, the last time I was here in the studio, I was here, and that's when we actually kicked off All Stars. So we did a couple week-long vote for the preliminary round. 20 characters, 3 different groups, whittled those down to 10 worthy warriors. That was also where the head pack, the choices for the head pack were selected in that as well. So the head pack vote, that got solidified with that first voting round. But then for the second voting round, we took those 10 warriors, put them against each other, asked everyone to pick their top 3. I think I mentioned last week's show with Steven that I selected, I believe I said Silverhorn Sentry. I selected, who else did I pick? I think I did Elf Ranger. I honestly can't even think. I think it was Ilgar. Yeah, Ilgar was the third one I did. So those are my choices. Not ready to reveal the winners yet. I know a lot of people have expected, because in past years, right? So if you're new to Mythic Legions, the reason everyone is expecting an announcement is because in past years, what would happen is the vote would end, and then almost immediately we would announce at least the winners of the All-Star vote. And then when the actual wave was fully revealed, there would be other surprises. The PowerCon figures have traditionally, or at least the last few waves of All-Stars, been included. And there's also been a troll that's included. Will that stuff happen this year? When is it going to be revealed? We've been telling everybody since the beginning, this is a year unlike any other. Expect surprises. All along the way, we've had those surprises. Why would the end of the process and the announcement of the winners be any different? So we are not ready to reveal that stuff yet, but trust me, it will be worth the wait when everything comes together and you see how we're going to present those figures to you, how they're going to get out into the world. So super excited about that. I did just mention last week with Steven, thank you for all the wonderful feedback on that. I had a great time. That was a fun experience with Steven, a fun conversation with Steven, kind of doing that crossover episode. I have heard a number of people that have said they very much enjoy me having Steven on. I guarantee you Steven was elated to hear that. Steven gets a significant lack of respect from his normal co-hosts. So I'm so happy that I was able to bring the best out of him on my show, and I look forward to having him back in the future. Let's see what we got here. Star says, I told my wife that Cosmic Legions is coming and I'm going to need to have her office space. My suggestion, Star, is you're not thinking big enough. She's going to have to move. You need the whole space. There's none of this half stuff. You got to go. We're going big here. There's a whole new universe, whole office space. Curtis saying, I just increased my DTOF numbers from 4 to 10 to accommodate Mythic pre-orders and Cosmics. I can't even not laugh. That's a significant jump to go from 4 to 10. I'm laughing too because I've done that. There was a point when I first set up the DTOFs in my basement, they had like nice distance between them. And then I've slowly gotten to the point where like they're literally touching. They like are all they're embracing each other. They're as close as they possibly can be. They are. And I mean, even originally, like I have a wall that comes out and I had a DTOF right with that wall. It's now a little bit further than the wall because it's one more and get one more in there. So I hear you, Curtis. Thank you. That's awesome. Pablo saying, can you give us any clues at what the 2 Legions Con exclusive figures will be, or is it too soon to reveal? It is too soon to reveal, and it is also, I will tell you that you just said it's 2 exclusive figures. I've never said that. I've never said it's 2 figures. So, fake news. I've said it's 2 show version figure sets. I didn't say 2 figures. Now everyone's like, is it weapons packs? Are they doing weapon? No, we're not doing an exclusive weapons pack. It's way cooler than that. Don't worry.
It's all feet.
It's all feet, all hands and feet packs. That's what we're doing. Legions Con.
Neck packs.
Yeah, Star, a line that's not growing becomes but stagnates becomes expendable. Absolutely. All the figures on Saturday seem to be pit fighters. I'm sensing a theme here. So let's look at that. Let's look at what I've got on the website. So today we launched the last of the teasers and I updated the homepage of the website to look like this. So you can see these fight posters are what we've been putting on, like teasing for the last 2 weeks now. We started last Monday with that first yellow poster, and we've been doing there's 4 total now. Let me see. I'll scroll down here. So this is what we posted today. Now, previously, all of these posters that we posted, they just said Fight Night at the Grave 040222. Stay tuned for further intelligence. Today was the first one where we expanded on that. So if you wouldn't mind, we're going to have a little, bedtime story with Jeremy, I guess. I'm going to read this update. So it says, transmission received. Our agents in the field have intercepted the following communique directly from the Valkatar prison complex. The authenticity of this information has been confirmed. Very official. Attention, Valkatar staff and honored guests. The fights return to Cell Block 5, The Grave, this coming weekend. Consider this your official notice of an invitation to the planned event. For your entertainment, we have lined up 4 incredible contests pitting some of our seasoned champions against a new crop of worthy opponents. These contests are highlighted by a main event that we are sure fight fans will be talking about for eons to come, as the Tetraderm Terra of Corvarum, the mighty champion of the grave named Kragnar, faces off against a member of the dreaded Red Spiral, the cybernetic brute known as Canox. I forgot how to say it. Canox, the Stinger Vol. Kragnar has never lost a contest in the grave, but he has never faced off against a member of the Red Spiral. Who will win the battle and who will prevail in our 3 other impressive undercard bouts? You will want to be in attendance to witness this can't-miss event for yourself. There will be a pre-fight broadcast on highlighting all of our fighters directly before the bouts begin. This broadcast starts on 4/02/22 at 8 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on our official network channel. And then I give the link to the Four Horsemen Studios YouTube channel. Immediately after this special broadcast at 9 p.m. Eastern, the fight begins in the grave. The code to gain entry is www.storehorseman.com. So that's my kind of silly way of basically informing all of you that 8 p.m. on the Four Horsemen Studios YouTube channel is the broadcast. That's when we're going to reveal all the fighters, all the characters in this wave. Then immediately following that broadcast at 9 p.m., this will go up for pre-order on storehorseman.com. So this is a pre-order. This is not going to be an in-stock wave. This is a pre-order period. The exact length of the pre-order, all of that will be revealed Saturday night. But for anyone that's worried that they've got to dig into their wallet or their pocketbook on Saturday night, this is a pre-order. Like all of our pre-orders, they last, a small period of time to give you a window to plan your purchase. But there's more. Actually, the last part, there's a little note here. It does say, mark your calendars, invited guests. The fights are about to begin. And then it says, note to any and all gravekeepers seeing this message, your presence is required in cell block 5 for this evening. Any previously approved furloughs or off-prison activities are hereby revoked for the duration of this evening. Consider this your final notice. And then we've got all 4 of the posters presented for the first time all together as one. So as you can see here, we have 4 posters. Each one of these features one of our existing Cosmic Legion's characters. They're all members that are part of the Grave Ring affiliation. So if you remember the lore that we talked about during that first broadcast, or the first wave, I should say, of Cosmic Legions, that first wave, which is called Valkatar Book 1, that takes place in this prison complex. In that prison complex, there is the lowest block of cells. Cell block 5 is called the Grave. The cell block is called the Grave Ring because it's a ring of cells that surround a fighting pit, an arena called the Grave. So clearly, if you're looking at these posters, you are seeing that there's some kind of a connection here. Last week on my show, I showed one of these posters, and I did mention that the alien language, that alien typeface that is in actually it's a bunch of different places, but I mentioned that in the top left corner, those 3 kind of blocks, it says Four Horsemen Studios. And amazingly, by the next morning, by Thursday morning, I woke up and people had deciphered both of the posters that were available at that time. Incredible that you guys took that little bit of information, were able to crack that and decipher all this. There were a few minor mistakes in there, but by and large, you guys nailed it. Super, super cool. Now, this week, we've seen the last 2 posters, the green one that we have at the bottom left here, and then that purple one on the bottom right. Very, very cool. A lot of people today commenting on that purple one, on the obviously cybernetic looking limbs, and even in that post that accompanies this, it talks about that character being the cybernetic brute. So super, super cool. People are very, very excited. I've seen all the pictures behind those silhouettes, and I can tell you people are going to be thrilled with this wave. I think everyone's going to be super excited. So to answer your question, it looks like there are a lot of pit fighters. Well, clearly what you're seeing here is kind of setting that stage. One thing I will tell you right now is, I know I did see some people saying, are they going to be 2-packs where it's going to be, literally versus those characters? They're not 2-packs. We're not forcing you to buy all the figures you've already pre-ordered. This was literally for promotional purposes to have some fun with it. But these are not you're not going to have to buy a 2-pack with Thygar in it to get the new character as well. So what is everyone thinking about this so far? How are you enjoying these teasers and these reveals? I'm definitely seeing a lot of energy and a lot of excitement for Cosmic Legions. Let's see. So I'm going back. I'm scrolling a little bit. Okay, here we go. Joe Vassapolo. Forget Steven. I want to see Rich. He's in the audience out here throwing his 2 cents in. Steven saying, about time I got some respect. Thank you for joining, my lord. So Mindless saying, I expect more Legion builders and a Grave Keeper. Okay. Just going through. While I'm being silent, I'm going through and trying to read some of these comments. First rule about Fight Night, don't talk about Fight Night. That is not the first rule. You're mixing up Fight Club with the fights in the grave. We want you to talk about this. If you're excited about this, when you see these figures, we want you to put that broadcast out there and tell the world. The more the merrier. And Star saying, I can't handle this. Star, I know. Every single week I see you on my show and you're always like, when's Cosmic News? When's Cosmic News? So I knew you would be really, really excited for this. Hopefully this kind of fills some of your appetite for this. Hoping that Cosmic Legions is the future of Mythos. Who knows? I mean, different, Cosmarium and Mythos, they're different, but Steven said, I bet it takes 2 hours. You're saying it takes 2 hours for the reveal show? We do like to talk. Can we buy these posters as well? I don't know. We'll see. We might have some stuff in mind. We'll see. Axel saying the one in green gives me Predator vibes. I've heard that comment. I've heard a number of people say that. Greg, did Nate do the art for these posters? Actually, I did. All of these posters are ones that I designed. Maybe I'll talk about that process at a later date. Let's see. Those posters on my wall would be spectacular. Well, Star will have to see if we can make that happen. Will we ever find out who wins these matches? To tell you what, on Saturday, we're all going to win. We're all going to be winners on Saturday. So I'm not going to say that. There was an unfortunate misspelling of one of the characters, and it made me laugh because I'm immature. Can I say if there's only 4 figures or if there are others? I cannot say. You'll have to tune in on Saturday. I will say this. It's a 1-hour broadcast. So Poxis was 6 hours. But Poxis was G-Con. That's us just being excessive. That's us just saying like
out for the day.
Yeah, that's just like, let's do a full day worth of talking. So tune in. You'll see. Are these characters all from different factions? There are some different factions represented in this. They're not all from the same faction. So you'll see a little bit of variety there. Awesome. All right. Crystal saying we need comics. We need comics. I mean, definitely as this story starts to unfold, the idea of better ways, or not better, but additional ways to convey this storyline, that's something that's going to be exciting. I mean, this is early. We don't even have any Cosmic Legions figures in hand yet, and that's one of the cool things. Let me stop sharing here. They've said on Four Horsemen O'Clock, Chris has said that the tooling for the process for Cosmic Legions is going very, very well. Right, Chris? Chris says yes. So that's positive. That's super, super positive. I certainly cannot wait to get my hands on these figures for a variety of reasons. But we are still early in the line. There's a lot of surprises. There's a lot of variety to show and a lot of story to start to unpack. I look at how much narrative there is for Mythic Legions, and we still haven't seen that presented in a really nice linear format yet. So it would be really, really cool to see that both for Mythic and eventually for Cosmic as well. But I think we've got to unveil some more story first, because that's one of the cool things about this. And Bill and I were just talking about this earlier, actually, is these lines are so unique in the fact that they have these rich stories, but they are toys first and foremost. We're so used to, and this we see this at Toycon and at Zoicon and stuff, where people come up and that's one of their first questions. Is this a comic book? Is this a video game? Is this a movie? Is this an animated Netflix special? Whatever. You pick your form of media. It seems like we're so ingrained with people expecting something from a media property. And so many media properties today are just rehashes of media properties from the 80s or 90s or whatever. So the fact that this is truly unique is very, very unique. That's really cool. But it means that the figures are going to start to tell the story. So let's get a couple waves in. Let's let that story start to really roll out before we start talking about comic books and everything to bring it together. But I love that idea. Okay. Excellent. What else is going on for news? I did talk about Intern for a Day a little bit. I kind of jumped. That was part of my news. I'm super excited for that this weekend. That should be a lot of fun. We've got a really, really good group of people coming down. I know a lot of people have asked about the Intern for a Day experience that's going to be part of November's reveal. So November, that's the whole Mythic weekend. That's Intern for a Day on a Thursday, G-Con on Friday, Legions Con on Saturday and Sunday. And a lot of people want information about that. I was specifically waiting to get beyond this Intern for a Day just to avoid any confusion. So once we're beyond this in the next month or so, we'll probably be dropping some information about that. However, I've said it before, expect there's going to be some kind of lottery for that experience. So many people have expressed interest that there is unfortunately no way we could manage everybody. We can't host that large a group as much as we would love to. So there's going to have to be some kind of a lottery. We will release information about that, let everyone know how they can, put their hat in the ring to try to grab one of those spaces and have the opportunity to purchase one of the tickets for Intern for a Day. So more on that in hopefully a month or so. Got some fun stuff here on the table or on the couch futon thing. I mentioned that at these recent shows that we had a number of figures from the Alithia wave and from the Deluxe Legion Builder wave. So I got those here in the studio. I've been playing around with them all week, which is super, super fun. I want to show you some things. I want to show you some things that I didn't even know myself when I was playing around with them. Now that we're looking at these like pre-production samples, there's stuff that I didn't know in the prototypes. And certainly when you're dealing with the printed prototypes, they're terrifying. You don't even want to look at them too hard because you're afraid they're just going to like explode or something. They're fragile. That's what I'm trying to get at. These are not fragile, or at least not as fragile. So there's a couple things that I've discovered that I think are really, really cool that I want to share with you. First one I'm going to show you is a couple Deluxe Legion Builders. So on the Deluxe Legion Builders, there are new helmet attachments. So we've got the dwarf, right? The dwarf has like those horns that kind of come out in front. And it's the first figure. Most of the figures, the ports are on the side. This is the first one that the ports are more on the front and the horns come up. Those horns actually on that Dwarf Legion Builder are the same horns that are on the Barbarian Legion Builder. That one is on the sides. There's also the new Dark Templar that's got those kind of scalloped looking like fin wing things. When we did that reveal special for Deluxe Legion Builders, Eric had mentioned that the port size is a little bit different than they are for literally all of the other ones. So all of the other 1.0 and 2.0 helmet attachments all work with each other. Honestly, the only figure that has any kind of removable helmet or head attachments that are a different size are the Minotaurs. So Torion and Asterion, their horns are a totally different size than all of the other helmet attachments. So when Eric said that these new horns are a little bit smaller, in my head, I was thinking they were probably the size of the Minotaur horns. They're actually not. They're actually really, really, really close to all of the other helmet attachments. And to show you that, I figured I'd do something here. So my friend Joe Vasapolo, he did these for me today. This is a Cassia figure. So if you look, Cassia is one of the figures that's got those helmet ports. She normally has the big black horns. And this is Cassia with those horns that are from the Dwarf Legion builder. They're a little loose, like they stay in. I mean, they're not going to fall out, but definitely if I bump it, it will absolutely just pop out. If you wanted to do something like this, I mean, you could glue it, but if you don't want to go that permanent, even just a tiny speck of blue tack right on the end of that, pop that in, that would work totally, totally fine. So something as simple as new helmet attachments, that definitely opens up like a whole new set of possibilities of popping and swapping. This is kind of cool too. Now, if you use the slightly smaller helmet pieces from the new Deluxe Legion Builder figures, if you use those on one of the larger, if you use one of the existing ones, one of the helmet attachments we have now on one of the new Deluxe Legion Builders, these new ports, the horns are a little large. They do fit. You might have to heat it up a little bit, but here's an example of how that looks. So this is the dwarf with those super big horns. And these are so, so much bigger. I mean, I'll show you what I mean. So that is how big the dwarves' horns normally are. If you see the larger ones, they are super, super oversized. But it's funny, I didn't even plan on showing this, but right before showtime, Joe was messing around. He was talking to us about it, and he showed it, and I was like, dude, that's super cool. Let me show that on the broadcast. Let me show that on the show. So right there, I just flipped the horns around, went the other direction. Pretty cool, right? I love little stuff like that. Just these little things that you can do to change stuff around, little popping and swapping. If I put them down like that, that's another look you can get out of Cassia. And again, this is going to work with any of those ports. And there's, goodness, plenty of characters that have those pieces. Oh, got another one to show before we do that. Let's go to the questions here. Has there been a new figure in focus lately? I don't know when the last time I did one of those was. Not too long ago I did one. Curtis saying, I'm really excited about the Tactics Deluxe Builders. I went hard on those. I've been waiting as patiently as I can. Yeah, I think a lot of people, those are almost like the forgotten wave. I certainly forget about them a lot of times because I always think about the biggies. I think about Alithia. I think about Deluxe Legion Builders. And then my brain skips right over to like Cosmic and to Poxus. And for whatever reason, those game figures are ones I tend to forget, which is crazy because the Attila Gorgo 2-pack is one of the sets I'm most anticipating. I am also excited for the Orc packs. Interestingly, when those games went live, I was really excited for the Orc packs and less excited for the Elves. And as time has progressed, I think I'm now much more excited for the Elf sets than I am for the Orcs. Which, I mean, part of that makes sense. When those Orc sets were solicited, you couldn't find a green orc anywhere. This was the point that people were buying like Chrono figures and Purplor figures because those two were plentiful at that point. Hard to find now, right? We had Purplor and Chrono on the table at Legions Con Sunday this weekend, and it was a feeding frenzy. You would think that those were brand new figures no one had ever seen. And we're looking at it, we're like, we've had these things at multiple shows. They've been out for years. People were eager to get those two figures in their hand. But I remember a point that those were readily available on like Big Bad Toy Store. People were buying those figures just to repaint the flesh green and create green-skinned orcs because there were no green-skinned orcs to be found. Now we got the Vorthog figure in the Irithyr wave. We've got the Orc Legion builder that just hit with reinforcements. So we've got a lot more orcs that are readily available now. So I think people are a little bit less, I say people, I'm a little bit less anticipating that because I don't have as much of a gap in my current needs for customizing bodies and stuff. But 2.0 bodies, it's been a while since those have been readily available. So I am super looking forward to that, especially like the elf male. It's like a brown leather, so it's super generic looking, or I say generic. That generic always has a negative connotation, and I don't mean it negatively. A universal use. I can use that for a lot of different things. That's the word I should use. And the female elf is super cool as well. There's some interesting different head decos in there that are going to add some cool variety. So Curtis, I'm totally with you. I am looking forward to those as well. Braku Prime, does Eric write all the story copy across both lines? For example, the little bios on the packages. Yeah, that's all Eric. You know, he's got people that help, you know, proofread these and, you know, might help here and there, but the creative output is absolutely Eric. These are characters that, you know, he talks about obviously with his group, but Eric is very much knows how he wants to drive these stories. Let's see. Wonder if we'll ever see multiples of the same alien race in different capacities, like the like more Abolux, like Thygar, who's an old war-torn, battle-scarred military general, etc. We've already seen two versions of one race, the Sphexians. So in Cosmic Legions 1.0 or 1.0, Valkatar Book 1, we've seen two different Sphexians. So there's the Sphexian block commander and the Sphexian soldiers, basically. And if you look at their bios, it talks about that race is very hive-like. So, you know, like they would be back on their home planet, they operate in a similar kind of formation and fashion in the Valkatar prison, where there's a bunch of different, you know, warriors or soldier type characters that are all managed by that one block commander. So that is an example, and they look different too, right? The block commander doesn't have a helmet on. You get more of that bug insect like head, whereas the soldiers have more of a helmet on. So to your point there, will we see other versions of races that have different, you know, different roles or different capacities that they're serving in? Yeah, I mean, certainly I think that makes sense. Again, different than we saw in Mythic Legions. Mythic Legions, right out of the gate, we got multiple skeletons, multiple dwarves, multiple orcs, multiple humans. We're seeing less of that. We're seeing a lot of different races already in Cosmic, but we're not seeing, outside of the Sphexians, a lot of different characters from that one race. Because even the Tusk soldiers that have a lot in common visually, if you look at their bios, their race is listed as varied. Now, we did get the alternate heads for all three of the Tusk characters in Wave 1, but three totally unique races. So there's definitely a lot of variety, but line's going to go on for a very long while, you know, sales permitting, your support permitting. So I'm sure that we will revisit some of those alien races and see different characters within them. Okay, the dwarf is amazing. Glad I got him. I love when I get back to the comments for something I did 20 minutes ago, because I'm scrolling and I start talking, and then I'm like, oh, they're saying that was cool. I held that up 20 minutes ago. Are the game kits going to be for sale and in stock, or are they exclusive to Kickstarter? They are exclusive to Kickstarter. So those were not available through Store Horsemen. Those were specifically available through the game Although other retailers did have the opportunity to purchase some. So if Big Bad Toy Store, for instance, they certainly, I have seen, have them. I'm not singling them out instead of others. I've never looked for them on the other sites, so I'm not sure if the other retailers are carrying them. I know it was offered to them, so I would imagine that many of them are. If you go to sourcehorseman.com/retailers, that's a full list of the retailers. That's a full list of the retailers we've posted so far. Not all of the retailers have given us their information. So that is not our full retailer list, but it's a pretty darn extensive one. Check them out, see if any of them are offering them if you still need one. Max Slot, does the Goblin Deluxe Legion Builder have a 2.0 head on a 1.0 body? I believe it does. Greg, can you get me the Goblin Legion Builder? Straight Poop says, it's not a podcast. Oh, wrong camera. Not a podcast. So let's see here. So I've got actually 2 Goblin Legion Builders. This is the original Goblin Legion Builder from Advent of Decay. Actually, this one is probably from Reinforcements, but it's the same figure. This is the new Goblin Legion Builder, the Puglian. This is the one that is sculpted after Eric's dog, his pug. So let's take off this head. So that looks like a 1.0 head on this, to be honest with you. I was very much expecting this to be like Gonks is. Oh my goodness. See, these aren't my toys, so I can't use
cup of hot water.
I can't use my teeth to separate them. Don't use your teeth. That's a bad decision. This is a 1.0 head on a 1.0 neck. So this is a surprise. I was expecting this to be like Gonks. So the Gonks figure from Advent of Decay is another Goblin that is on a bulky, 1.0 dwarf type body. But the head port for that figure for Gonks it fits with 2.0. Gonks has that full face mask. That was the alternate head that actually came with the Goblin Legion Builder. So it had to fit on this body as well. This head is a totally different size. So this is actually a 1.0 head. Oh, why is it always going to come out?
Don't use your teeth.
I'm not using my teeth. So neck peg here. If I take this Barbarian and I pop that Goblin on there, it looks super, super silly, but it fits. That's what I was going for. Customizing. Mythic Customs, showing you recipes. So yeah, so that absolutely is a 1.0 head that fits there. So that's going to fit on, that would fit on an orc if you wanted, like those 1.0 orcs. Absolutely. What are the questions we got? No, this is not a podcast either. Star, can we get the fight records of the Grave Fighters? We'll see. We'll see if I'm not sure if I have time before Saturday, but perhaps. Yeah, Daniel, they didn't make the head like that. Nate Strong, do the Goblin Builders come with the extra Sir Gerard head? No. No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't come with the Gerard head.
Everything gets a Gerard head now.
Can I hold the neck peg up to the camera? It's literally, it literally looks like the Orc Legion Builder neck. It's literally the same piece in the same color. Exactly the same. So if you've got an Orc Legion Builder 1, it's literally the same neck in every way. Watching Jeremy play with toys, so much enthusiasm. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to show you something else super, super cool. I'm going to show you something on Valik. So this figure here is one of my most anticipated figures in the Alithia line. And in years past, I would just bring up pictures of him at home. I used to do that with like the Kickstarter, where it took, a little bit of time to actually fulfill from Kickstarter to me having it in hand. So I would routinely go back to the Kickstarter page and just like look at the pictures and imagine. Kind of like a kid with a wish book, like the Sears wish book at the holidays, where I would just, I would do that. But now I have this awesome job that I just play with toys all day.
That's what we do. Like Tom Hanks and Big.
Like Tom Hanks and Big. And I get to be here and I get to actually see these things. So that's super, super cool. So this weekend, I was putting this in the case and his hand fell off, which is not a big deal, right? We know their hands pop off. But when his hand popped off, I realized something. And I realized how this bird mechanism works. So I never even questioned this. When I first saw this figure and I realized that he had this bird, by the way, the bird's name is Cinder. When I realized that Valik had this bird on his wrist, I imagined that the bird had like two little pegs under his feet that went in two holes in the arm. That's what my brain said. And it said that because I've seen that gimmick on other figures. That gimmick sucks. It doesn't work because the pegs are always small and flimsy and it just falls apart. And when you pull the bird off, you've got two weird looking, it's like a vampire attacked his forearm. Doesn't make any sense. So that's what I expected. The way this actually works, and I'm going to bring this up to the camera, is if I take off this character's hand, what you're going to notice is the actual bird is on a piece of gauntlet. So it's like a separate like sleeve that slips over an existing gauntlet. So this gauntlet is like any other lower arm, right? If I put that hand back in, you're going to see that this figure looks fine without the bird there. This totally, totally works. There's no extra holes. There's no extra holes in that hand. It looks like any other part. So this piece, this little sleeve that goes right on there, it's interesting because it's thin, but it's super, super sturdy. That goes right on. Now, I guess the downside is if you just wanted the bird by itself, the bird is sitting on this gauntlet type piece. So you don't get that. Realistically, if that's really what you wanted to do, you could trim that. You could cut that out if you wanted. Now, if you cut it out, you're not going to be able to use the gimmick anymore. But if you've got multiple of these and you want one that can roost on a branch or something, you could do that. So that was an example of just interesting engineering that I thought was cool, and that hadn't gotten out there. At least I haven't seen anyone put it out there. So wanted to share that with you. What do you guys think of that? This is such a cool figure, by the way. Oh, you know what? Another thing I'll show you is people have asked about the hood and everything. So the hood here, I'll take the head off. If you've got any of the 2.0 figures that have hoods, if you've got the Elf Ranger or the Shadow Elf Ranger or Faustia, any of them, this is going to feel very, very familiar. Now, this is not the same hood. Those are all 2.0 size figures. This is larger. This is sized for 1.0 figures. But it's very similar in the terms that it is a head that's like an insert that goes inside of the hood. Now, what's cool here is in the past, I'm going to take Cinder off for a moment. In the past, we would get something that would look more like this, where you would have the hood, let me bring it up, you'd have the hood like that, and then you just have the cape. Now you see there's a fairly large gap here. We would always try to just, close that up by putting the cape on. If you've got the Elf Ranger or anything, that's probably pretty familiar. It doesn't look bad. It actually looks really good. You can make it look really, really good. But this extra piece adds a little bit something more, this piece. And it's funny because I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of soft goods on action figures. I'm definitely a convert. Seeing the stuff that like C. Jessam has been doing for this line, certainly seeing the stuff Mezco does with 112 Collective, I've come around on soft goods. I very much like them now. I think that they have a role, but I can't help but still like those silly large plastic capes. I did start collecting Spawn after all. That's what got me started. And when you think long, silly plastic capes, you think McFarlane Toys. So,
none longer.
so I do like that. But I think that this is a cool mix of the two, where when you combine them together, you've got that hood in the front that kind of hangs down. You've got both of that look. And if you take off that cape, that's one thing I like too. If you take off that cape, it'll look less like a whole cape and more just like a kind of like a shawl, like a scarf that they have around their head or something. I've done that many, many times. Obviously, the Black Series Kylo Ren, that first figure.
Have you used that for anything before?
I have used that. I have used that once or twice, and he's got a scarf, and I like it very, very much. I don't think I have any more scarves at home, so I'm currently banned from using them. I love the fact that I said Kylo Ren, and like the audience laughed. Like, okay, let's see what we got. Show me that Valik head. I already did. Valik, want so bad, didn't realize it's a 1.0 body. Yeah, that's kind of cool because, well, we got Carpathius, which is a 1.0 vampire, Baron Valigar 1, Baron Valigar 2. Those are all 1.0. But we also got the Vampire Knight, that figure, and the female vampires. Those were all 2.0. So Valik is going to add a little more size variety alongside that Vampire Knight. I think that'll look really good. Valik is the Magnus of the Alithia wave. That's a bold statement. That's a bold statement.
Hope it lives up.
Rich M. Oh no, that wasn't Rich M. That was Slot Max Slot throwing down the gauntlet. I mean, the Magnus of the Alithia wave. So when I was talking about the Wish Book, Joe Vassapolo, I know that guy, says the studio is my Wish Book. I wasn't a big fan of vampires. Then I saw Valik. I feel like that's like a testimonial for Valik,
Yeah.
Matthew Scott. That's the guy's name. Will White, is it a sleeve? Yeah, basically it's a sleeve that kind of goes over. But when it's actually on, it is fairly seamless. It's seamless enough to the point that I just noticed it this weekend, and this is not the first time I've held that figure. I've actually held it. I've put it on display at ZoloCon earlier this month. I put it on display, took it off display at night, put it back on display on Sunday morning. So I touched it 3 times that weekend and didn't realize that was the construction. So that's cool. By the way, the head is articulated. I mean, it's just a little bit of movement. It's not super articulated. You're just going to get a little cut joint. The wings are not. The wings are fixed in that large, that, wingspan, open wing pose. But it's a companion figure. And if years of collecting G.I. Joe as a kid taught me anything, it is that figures that come with animals are cooler, especially if they have masks on.
The companion animal or the main character?
Both, possibly. Did any Joes come with a companion that had a mask besides Snake Eyes? I'm thinking, oh, Mutt, because Mutt had
He had
the mouthpiece. Yeah, Mutt was cool, and he had like the Fisto style hand. What a design! So cool. Can the bird go on any other figure? So let's see. Oh, I got figures here. Yeah. Let's play with toys.
All day.
Okay, so color-wise, this doesn't really work. That's okay. So yes, you can get it in here. This isn't my figure, so I'm going to be a little bit less aggressive in making it fit.
That's a factory sample. It's not even a real figure yet.
So yes, you can. I'm doing it on a dwarf lower arm. The dwarf lower arms are kind of chunky, so it's not fitting super seamlessly.
You haven't tried it like me.
Yeah, I want to make it on a dwarf. I break a lot of 3D parts and people wonder why. And just watching this video, you can probably figure out why, because I got butterfingers. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this looks like it's going to fit a little bit better. So there you go.
He's smiling. You can't tell. The Black Knight is smiling.
Oh, I thought you meant me.
No, you're always smiling.
So there you go. Yes, you absolutely can fit that. And I mean, Greg gave me the Black Knight here, which works really well because the shiny black of that leather gauntlet works really well, obviously, with the shiny black of the Black Knight. So it does work. I could have gotten it to fit on the dwarf if I would have been a little aggressive, if I would have heated it a little bit and kind of forced the plastic over. But it's not thin, but it's because it's not mine. I certainly don't want to break it. So yeah, you can absolutely do that.
Your pile of toys is growing.
Does the hood and cape come off for my Skeletor Keltis custom? The cape does, because I mean it's just a fabric cape. It plugs in through the back ports like any of the other fabric capes. You just saw me take the collar piece off. The hood you can remove the head. I've done a video before about removing Mythic Legion's parts that aren't meant to be removed. There's a lot of pieces that they're not modular the way that the heads pop off and the arms and gauntlets, but with a little bit of heat and a little bit of force, you can remove those pieces. I've done that with the other hoods many times. You can certainly do that with this as well, but you can't just pop any head inside of it. You would have to, if you have another head, you would have to probably shave it down, Dremel it down to fit inside and have a similar kind of, if you pull that head out, you're going to see it's not meant to be on its own. It's got, a weird shape meant to go right in that hood. So you'd have to deal with that. Let's see what else. So excited. Going to have to get more for customs and LBCs. I missed the Alithia Wave. Did you really miss the Alithia Wave, Curtis? Do you think they will be available at Legions Con? Joe. I was trying to rope him in, but I'm freezing. We got a question saying, I missed the Alithia Wave. Do we think that they'll be available at Legions Con?
I sure hope so.
We sure hope so.
Can't say for sure.
There's going to be a lot of stuff at Legions Con. So Curtis, I would say if I shake my magic 8-ball, the signs look positive. On the note of Joe and shipping and all that stuff, Joe wanted me to mention this earlier on the 4 o'clock show, and I totally forgot. So I'm going to mention it on this show that shipping for the All-Stars in-stock sale is just about wrapped up. I saw a whole bunch of stuff go out today. They've been going out all week, so that's just about wrapped up. So if you placed an order in that sale and you are still waiting on it to arrive, the wait is almost over. They should be there soon.
Pack your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll do.
Now people are talking about McFarlane having big capes, so we're back there. Am I going to show the half giant? Do you want to see the half giant? Sure, go grab the half giant, Greg. Let's add to the pile.
Playing with toys all night now.
His falcon is named Cinder. Let's see. Oh, I love when I read a comment and I'm like, what the heck? Crocmaster.
Oh.
Animal in a mask. So this is a figure that we also had on display at Toycon New Jersey this weekend. Now, this figure was actually on display at ZoloCon as well, but we had neglected to pack the the head accessory pack, the shield, and the cool hammer here. I mean, this is like a belt buckle. This thing is so big. It is really gigantic. Very, very cool. I love this guy. People that came by the table this weekend said that this is, oh, cool. Toys. That this was the figure of the wave. And I'll show you at Toycon, we had him looking like this with these horns. See, this is what you get when I do the broadcast from the studio. I get to do all this cool stuff, and I get to I haven't even seen these in. I told Joe, I said, oh, I can't wait to see it with these. So that's how he looks with his moose horns, which are super, super awesome. I know some people have asked whether or not these are the same horns as the moose. You don't have to get those. Oh, you want to get, okay, get one. They are not. These are not the same as the moose horns. The actual moose horns are much, much, much larger. So if you that's how much larger the alder moose horns are than the horns that come with the accessory pack. These are absolutely gigantic. That moose, when people get that moose in hand, they're going to have display challenges because it takes up so much space. So this is super cool. We've got, if I pull this head off,
He really doesn't like it when you do that.
he doesn't like it when I pull the head off. He likes this head. He likes this head so much, he says to me, he said, Jeremy, don't take my head off. So I'm not going to. But that's an example of the other head. So this head here, not the horns, but this head here is the one that comes with the half giant. It actually has these little just kind of plug pieces that go on the side. They're just, if you look at the promo photos, you'll see it. But he's going to come with that head. This is similar to the Balthor the Tower head, except for instead of the open, exposed lower mouth, he's got a fully armored mouth. The accessory pack includes these horns, this head, the antlers, the gigantic shield, and this really cool, almost like wildebeest hammer. Oh, and the shoulder pads and actually the strap. Those are all part of the accessory pack. That accessory pack, if you remember watching the reveal special, those were all designed by Nate Barch. He who does all of the amazing artwork on all of the packaging. This is all stuff that he designed and sketched, and goodness, does it look super, super cool. It kind of looks like Nate. because Nate does walk around with giant.
There was that one time, yeah.
So very cool. Hopefully that's what you wanted to see. I was thinking earlier, you know what the nice thing about doing the show not from home is I don't have as much toys to put away after the show, but apparently we blew that out of the water. Okay, so hopefully you're enjoying the show tonight. A little bit off the wall. I really wasn't sure where I was going to do it from when I got here this week. I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about, but it is now 8:49, so it seems to have worked out pretty well. I hope we see more 1.0 elves in the future, similar to Lord Bardrick, I assume. Someone talking about making a Lady Hawk custom. Looking forward to a full giant, a dragon, and a spoos. The shield looks happy. Maybe like, yeah, maybe fiendishly happy. These Legion builders are my most anticipated wave. I got to tell you, I really was looking forward to those as well, and I still am. But seeing the Alithia stuff here, holding some of this stuff in hand, they are just absolutely gorgeous. And at the last two shows, we've really gone big with the vampire presence. We've had Alithia there, we've had Valik, we've had Baron Valagar, we've had Desabolis, and we've had Varg. So all of those have been there. We took Artemis Silvercord as well. We didn't take Lord Bardrick, Krotos, the Centaur, Aspherius, all super, super cool figures. Seeing them all here on display. We've got them all set up so the interns that are coming this weekend can, kind of gawk at them for a while and Sears wish book them. Trust me, these deluxe Legion builders are amazing. Wait till you get Alithia in hand. It is going to blow you away. Okay. Oh no, there's a baby moose missing his horns somewhere. It's fantasy. It's just a little moose. Looking forward to the accessory pack. That belongs in a museum.
Ouch.
Yeah, Daniel, that's Daniel Douglas. He's the one that was really big into Silverhorn Sentry. Amazing, amazing campaign.
That's a cool figure.
Did Silverhorn pull out a win at the end? Gonna have to wait and see. This is a really fun episode. I hope we get to see more Mythic conversations from the studio. Well, I'm here with some frequency, so I would, again, the Magic 8 Ball says that signs are positive.
Signs point to yes.
Signs point to yes, that you will get more like this. Show me Krotos. Krotos is not out right now. He made a noble sacrifice. So Krotos. So I don't have a Krotos to show you. There might be one out this weekend, but he's not there yet. I noticed the latest Legion Builder reinforcements feel like a different plastic than older figures. Is that the plastic we will see going forward? So someone heard me saying there's no Krotos.
Suddenly, as if by magic.
Different plastic?
I don't think so.
I mean, there's a variety of reasons why stuff may feel different. I know that there have been certain things that have changed over time, but to our knowledge, there was no conscious effort to change any of the plastic. Yeah. I mean, certainly if you compare like the Black Knight Legion Builder to the Colosseum one, these are going to be, I've noticed that some of the newer figures are way easier to pop apart because of the plastic being used. So there's certainly been changes over time, but I don't think recently. I think they dialed that in some time ago. Deer puns, I dig it. So here we go. Here's Mr. Krotos. So this is cool. So some stuff you may not have noticed on Krotos. I did not intend to just reveal all of these figures and show you all I was going to do one. So one cool thing that you may not have noticed on Krotos is in his belt, he actually has these little loops which I super dig. I remember on the first wave, the strappy type belt that like Atlas comes with, it's got a little loop there for a dagger. It's funny. I remember one day talking to Travis Bowles, and this is like 4 years into the line, and he saw me put a dagger in there, and he's like, "How did you make that little loop there?" And I'm like, "The hell are you talking about?" And he's like, "How did you get that dagger in there?" And I was like, "I put it in." And he literally looked at one of his figures and he was like, "Son of a gun. I've had these figures on my shelf for 4 years. I've never realized there's a little loop there." So I like that. I like areas that I can store weapons and things. That's pretty cool.
Or a sandwich.
Or yeah, a sandwich. There could be a sandwich there. Love this figure. So one thing that's really cool here that you'll notice is he's got the torso. He's got this lower skirt piece, but he does still have the loin. So this lower skirt piece, that basically replaces the folds armor, but it looks different because previously the folds armor was very much on the sides. This is something I've done for years and a lot of customizers have done, specifically with Lord of the Rings figures. Lord of the Rings, the costume aesthetic of that franchise is very much focused on fabric that comes below the belt. So a lot of those figures have those soft pieces, pop them apart, use them on Mythic Legions because Legions hadn't done that before. Now we're seeing that with with Valik here, Lord Bardrick, these lower type pieces that it's functionally going to be like the folds armor, but it gives you more coverage and it really transforms the way the figure looks. That's something I'm excited for. A lot of people have referred to this armor as being very samurai-like. I see what they mean.
See more Viking.
You see more Viking?
They were like the leather armor. It was like
Yeah, I see that
The
too.
little plates on it, like the Japanese are. Like
Yeah, I mean, I can see
Both.
both.
Yeah.
It's not like if you look at like the articulated icon samurai armor, I mean, that is trying to go with a much more straightforward. Yeah, if you wanted to have more of an Asian armor inspired type feel, this would certainly work without it being so on the nose. But yeah, this is Eric. I know you wanted to see Krotos. This is definitely a figure I'm excited for. He has a regular 1.0 neck peg. This is on a dwarf body. So this is going to be similar to the Warrior figure, where if you want to make this into a dwarf, you are going to need to replace the feet. The really cool thing about this wave, unlike Advent of Decay, which had Warrior in it, in that wave, if you wanted to change Warrior into a dwarf, you had to find feet from some other source. In this wave, there are actually the hand and feet packs. So the leather type hands, the leather type boots that we get with Valik and with Lord Bardrick, those type of booted feet, we actually get those hand and foot packs in this wave. So if you ordered one of those packs and you ordered Krotos, you can easily just swap the feet right there to have this as a dwarf style build. I actually have a custom part, little secret, it's a critter, that I've wanted to put on this figure for a really, really long time. It's a part that was revealed, or it was finalized over a year ago. But when I realized that this was the build I wanted, I decided to hold it back. It's actually a beaver. I really want to put the beaver on this body with those feet. So as soon as this arrives, the first custom I'm going to do is going to be my beaver. I don't know. Maybe his name's Wally.
Oh, no. Ouch again.
I hope the Sentry wins so I can put a Krotos head on one. Isn't there a Sentry right behind you?
Perfect. The headless one.
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there you go. You wanted to see what the Kratos head looks like on a Silverhorn Sentry body. Yeah, that looks super cool.
Your pile is growing.
Okay, so we're coming up at 9 o'clock.
Gimme, gimme.
Oh, there you go. All right, we got some other stuff going on over here. The toy pile is creeping. Someone said the toy pile is creeping up. It's now in frame. Yeah, it wasn't in frame, but now you can see it. It's a little in frame.
I
I'm
didn't
gonna spend the rest of the night putting them all away. Oh man.
Kratos and Sentry, the real goat. So we got something going on over here. So I got a few more minutes before we call it a night, and I put all these toys away and then drive to my hotel room alone.
You can take a pillow with you.
I can take a pillow. I'll take George and.
That's pretty much the face Chris makes all day here.
Yeah.
So for anyone wondering, how long Chris, that's cool. How long did Chris wear that costume after the show?
At least an hour.
Yeah, he probably had it on for an hour. He was walking around in his Centurion costume, talking about the fact that he should wear cape more often because it made him feel very regal. He likes the fact that it billowed behind him. It flowed behind him when he walked. So for anyone that wonders whether or not that is just for the camera, it is not.
That's Chris on an average day. Sometimes he dresses up, not even when there's a show to go on.
So what we just did here, what Joe just did, is he put some of those leather feet on Kratos's body. We threw an orange steel hide head on there. I popped in the horns that are going to come with the Dwarf Legion builder, and we've got this dwarf-like looking build. So for all of those fans at home that are wondering what Kratos will look like in dwarf form, there you go. He also comes, by the way, with this really cool little satchel. So I like figures that come with little man purses.
Little Indiana Jones pouch.
Yeah, a little got a map going on there. So that's super cool. Any questions that I can answer rapid fire before we call this an evening? Let's see. Anthony House Seal, of course, commenting on the dwarf. The Puglian head on that Kratos body. Why is the neck's always gonna pop off?
Tight balls.
What?
Tight balls.
You know what?
It's gotta be the temperature. This is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, that's kind of cool too, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Pop and swap with Mythic Customs.
At 4H Studios.
Yeah.
It's in the game.
What do you got? You want this?
Use your words.
Oh, he's got it. I was like, where's the figure this goes to? Nikto, yes, these are pre-production samples that I am playing around with right now. That we are playing around with.
Here we go. Stay there.
You want to bring it on? You want to show it?
Yeah, sure.
For the next hour, we're just going to make customs.
Why you run?
The Joe Show with Joe.
So
Welcome.
sick of sitting on the side here.
We're up there.
Not giving any hints or anything, but it'd be pretty cool if we can make something like that happen, huh? That'd be pretty neat. I'm pretty excited to have another one of these guys available at the studio.
No secrets.
No secrets. There's no secrets. It's nothing known. Well, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, it was just putting a different head on. I mean, it wasn't all that serious.
How's it look?
We're playing that game. That is the Ilgar head, and
Oh,
the armor color matches pretty well.
that matches remarkably well.
Yeah, and I've got the tall neck on there, not the dwarf neck, but regular size neck, but
It actually fits really well with the regular size neck, though.
yeah, I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hope we get around to doing that.
Yeah, so that question I answered earlier, yeah, these are all pre-production samples, so they're very far along. These are not, these are not test shots or something. These are, one of the final stages before they actually go into production.
Was this a helmet party? No one told me.
You want me to grab the helmet in the back room?
Fine, go get a helmet too.
Diego's helmet.
The chat was so hot tonight, I just had to sit and enjoy. Does Valik have a loin piece hiding under his belt?
Dun, dun, dun. That's
He does. So weird.
The happy place.
This is my job.
it's a good job looking up toy skirts.
There's a piece there. Yeah, it looks like there's a new loin piece there.
It's called the pee-pee cover.
It's instead of the boom boom cover, it's this little flap that's right there. So by itself, it would probably look very, very weird, but in combination with this other piece, it works totally, totally fine. So it's probably a piece that you're only going to find as part of that combo.
Oh boy. The only thing we're missing here is an axe. Man, is it loud in this thing. How's it going?
It's going well.
Thanks, Diego. Hey, hello? Who's there? Kind of hard to see out of this thing.
No secrets.
This is so fun.
That is solid.
Yeah. It's really loud in here.
You're really loud. It kind
It's
of,
very voice focused.
Wow, I'm not even projecting.
it,
It's projecting.
I hear you talk all the time, and this makes you sound.
So good.
This is like Joe 2.0.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Anyone got an axe? Is there an axe around here?
There's a figure there.
It's not the same. I'll just have to deal with this little pokey stick.
Snacks right there.
It's so intimidating. There we go.
Thank you, Curtis.
Yeah, we're getting nowhere with these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Sure.
I think we're done for tonight. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll be back home next week.
Oh.
I'll be back home next week. I will do Mythic Conversations back from my boring toy room. But hopefully I'll bring you some super cool content that you will enjoy. But you don't have to wait until next Wednesday to see me online again. I will be part of this coming Saturday's reveal special. So once again, remember, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Four Horsemen Studios YouTube channel. So not here on my Mythic Customs channel, but on the official Four Horsemen Studios channel. We will be doing the reveal special for the next Cosmic Legions wave. And trust me, you are going to love this. You are going to be excited. I will see you then, unless you are an intern. If you are an intern, I will see you bright and early Saturday morning for what I guarantee you is going to be an incredibly cool, memorable, fun experience here at Four Horsemen Studios. I'll see you then.
Okay.